Hey there, welcome to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. We're studying the 4 pillars of a healthy home. We're studying about the structure of the house. We talk about the ecosystem, what's going on inside that house. We talk about our physical bodies, and we talk about our emotional and spiritual well-being. All of that wrapped in up into a nice tidy package for your consumption. Check us out on our YouTube channel, Keith and Sheila Hittner. Just just Google Keith and Sheila Hittner, and all the socials will come up. You can just click on which one you like. All right, so we got Matt's in the studio. Dr. Matt's in the studio. We're going to be talking about vaccines later on and how everyone's dying from those.
Okay.
Not really, but pretty much. Anyhow, Sheila, what do you got coming up?
So for those of you on the radio, you can't see what I'm holding up, but I'm holding up this cute little doggy bag that you put your poop bags in, and then when you're out walking your dog or whatnot, you pull a bag right out of the dog's butt. Isn't it cute?
Oh, that's very cute.
So why this? We are giving this away at our pet class, which is August 17th. We're also giving away a pet product with it.
Wait a minute. Pet class?
Yes. So it's how to safely use essential oils and other natural products on your pets.
Okay.
Okay. And so maybe they itch, maybe they have hot spots. You know, it could be as simple as the hot spots from the nickel bowl dish that you're feeding your dog in.
Mm-hmm.
We had a client one time that we went to their house,
mm-hmm.
and their dog, they had the dog everywhere, didn't they? And finally at the U, they realized that the hot spots were coming from the nickel poisoning in the cheap dog bowl dish. So
they thought it was stainless steel. It was sold as stainless steel, but it was a cheap stainless steel with a lot of nickel in it.
So there's a lot of reasons why your pet can be having issues. I mean, if your pet is going to be allergic to a protein, typically it's chicken. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the way it is. And so come and learn about all those things. That is August 17th.
August 17th.
That's a Saturday, so that's 10 a.m. And, of course, then
Do you bring your pet to the class? Or
no.
No pets?
No. But you're going to win a cute little
poop bag.
Poop bag, yep. I have a gal who has been going through cancer on her own naturally and doing a lot of different modalities. We love that word. And she has really been seeking and conquering the why and doing all the natural things. And she's also a teacher in general, so she's like the green personality.
How long has this been going on?
A little over 2 years.
Okay, still alive.
Yep. And so she wants to put a vibration wellness series together. So it's going to be a 10-part series, and we're going to shift the location every month of where we're going. So we're going to start August 24th at 10:30 at our house, and then the next month it'll be either Golden Valley or St. Michael. So we're trying to make it easy for everybody to come to, but again, a 10-part series. That one is $10 each time you come, and all these are on the website, ourhealthyhomes.com, and the vibrational wellness series really is being put together to make us aware of the illnesses and things that we're dealing with and how we can deal with them naturally and take charge of your health and empower you to do something naturally, right?
Okay.
And then, let's see, we have the pickleball. Before the pickleball, though, we have how to reduce your blood sugars naturally. So that is August 27th, and that is in the evening. That is one of the most well-attended topics, just because 80% of Americans are pre-diabetic. So let's talk about that. We, we'll take your blood sugar. If you want us to prick your finger, we'll send you home with the blood sugar kit for 3 days to test your own, because there's a lot of people that have never tested their own. So we'll send you home with some testing tools and help you through that. and really you just need to know where you're at.
I wonder how that
Right.
ties into high blood pressure as well. Any
She does
correlation
talk.
there, I wonder?
She does talk. Matt might know that, but she does talk a little bit about that as well in that table talk.
Okay.
And so then, of course, the pickleball retreat has been moved a couple times. There's been a few things that have come up why we needed to move them, but we are starting Friday, October 18th, and going to Sunday, October 20th.
All right. Locked in.
Locked in.
All right.
So we're going to be pickleball Friday, Saturday, Sunday, along with some other treats in there, and of course a swag bag, and all your food's provided, and transportation, and all the things. So go to ourhealthyhomes.com, click on the events tab. You can share an individual topic if you want. So when you're in that topic, click the share button, and it'll give you a link, and you can share it with your friends. And I would love to have some out-of-state people come to the pickleball retreat at the
If you like bologna sandwiches, that's the place to come to that, because Sheila's added a few hours of playing pickleball on there, which our cost structure kind of got out of whack there. So the good food went away. Bologna sandwiches came in. And,
never.
But they got Miracle Whip on them, so they'll be really
not
tasty.
Miracle Whip either. Not that either. I personally know how parasites are damaging to the body. So I want to take a blinker here to parasites. And so I've been getting, my natural news and all of that. And the correlation between parasites and cancer, they're just finding more and more correlation between the parasites and cancer. So parasites are a real thing, and people don't believe that they are, and what they can do, and the damage that they do. And we're in this sad American diet, and all the things that throws off our gut, from the alkaline to the acidic, and then that's the haven for the parasites, and then that's the environment that they love, and they love the mucousy areas around the face, and a lot of times rosacea is because of parasites. There's so many things. Your big belly that you've tried to do everything possible to try to get down. You're exercising, you're doing all the right things. And the parasite piece of it is a part of the Melt on Your Muffin Top program that I put together, that I walk people through. And so that's also on the website. But I thought this was, I don't know why sometimes I think things shock me when they really shouldn't shock me. You know what I'm saying? So there's nearly 5,300 people in the U.S. who are diagnosed with cancer every single day. That means one new diagnosis every 16 seconds.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah,
that hurts the heart.
Up. That'll keep going up too.
And think about that from when I was a kid, you never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Nobody who had cancer, lung cancer was the only thing you ever heard about.
Yeah, the smokers.
Yeah, was
maybe
lung
cirrhosis of the liver from the drinkers.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, it'd be really bad, and it was rare.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a chilling thought, right? But the idea is that I like to make people aware of these things so that we can do something about it now. Let's be preventative. That's, I think, all three of us here believe in preventative. So let's just have a conversation around what it is that you're struggling with and where you need to go. I have a lot of answers, but then I have my community of people that I can send to when I don't have the answer. Right. So we can fight it. We can fight it naturally. We can catch it ahead of time. We can do some preventative things so that we're not one of the 16 seconds.
Now, the best part about this business is the network is nationwide.
Yeah.
Actually globally, but nationwide, because we visit with people, talk to people, share information with people all over the country, and share ideas. And someone's trying this in Idaho, and it sounds like a good idea, and it works, and that's the beautiful part about this kind of an organization. So when we come back, I think we have about a minute left. I just want to get it out here. We're going to play Is She Worth Half? So
do you know this game?
Oh, I heard about this.
Okay,
game.
so this is a game we play. I play it with my buddy on when we have coffee clutch on Thursday mornings, and it's Is She Worth Half? When you're going to step out on your bride, whoever you're stepping out with, she better be worth half, right? Because that's what the divorce is going to cost you. So we play Is She Worth Half? And there's lots of
jokingly
good-looking, of course, good, all in jest. But there's lots of good-looking people out there, but they're just fat. They got the muff. They're just fat. And if you look at them, God, she lost 25, 30, 40 pounds. She'd be really good looking. I don't understand that. But we got a program for that called the Muffin Top Meltdown. We'll talk about it when we come back from break. This is Our Healthy Homes. OurHealthyHomes.com, 651-775-9194. If you want to send hate emails, send them to Sheila at HittnerGroup.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes. When we went out to break, we played the game, Is She Worth Half? And I mentioned the Muffin Top Meltdown. Sheila, what is that?
It is a process. Okay, I know people like the magic pill and they want everything to happen like now, right? Well, A, it doesn't work like that, and B, if it is, you're probably taking a medication that is damaging to you and in the long run isn't going to help you out in any way. So, it is a process of things that we do, cleanses that we do, things that we do to open up the pathways, start healing in your body, and then processing and eliminating things out of your body, such as what we talked about earlier, parasites, there's bad bacteria, there's bile, there's like all sorts of stuff that your organs are basically plugged, near plugged. And so the body isn't working as well as it could. So all the things that you're trying to do with eating right and exercise isn't going to get you there, because you got to get your kidneys flushed. You got to get your liver flushed. You have to get these organs flushed so that we can clean them out. We always say we change the oil in our car, right? But we don't change the oil in us. It's kind of like that kind of thing. And it's a process, because if you just jump into doing all these things all at one time, you are going to be sick, because you're taking a toxic body, and if you're not doing it in the right order at a right pace, you're shaking up that body of toxins, and then you're doing something to just, boom, eliminate them out of your body, and now your body's in shock.
All right, I got a question about that.
Yeah.
So, isn't our body designed to flush itself? I mean, why do we need to do something to flush it?
It is, but the sad American diet and the people you were referring to, and it doesn't matter what you weigh, it doesn't matter. You're in an environment that we are taking on so many toxic chemicals from everything that we're doing, and the processed foods and all the glyphosate and all the things. The body is designed, but we're at a point now in society where we unfortunately need the help to push things through and target each organ.
It's the same idea with nutritional supplements, where people used to say, well, can't you just eat good food?
Oh,
Well,
right.
the soils are so
There
depleted.
aren't any good foods anymore.
Yeah, even if you eat the best source of a particular produce and from the best soils, those soils are all depleted. So you have to literally make up for them now. We're in that day and age.
Yeah, we are.
And that's exactly why so many people are doing backyard gardens now again. I mean, people in the city where
Yes.
never gardened in their life, all of a sudden they're gardening and they're composting and they're
Having
trying
chickens.
to grow some of their own stuff, having chickens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trying to grow some of their own stuff. Then with that, you mentioned supplements, because I'm a supplement guy. I take a lot of supplements, and I take them every day just because now it's just becomes part of my day, right? I get up and I take these, and it's a lot. I mean, it's like a coffee cup full of stuff, and I wonder to myself, well, is this doing any good or not? You know what I mean?
Well, most people aren't taking supplements. Even when they're taking supplements, they're taking replacements. And what they're effectively trying to do is replace a particular pill for something they should change in their lifestyle. So you can't make up for 1 million supplements for bad junk food and whatnot. People try that. It's
They
like
do.
trying to work out to burn off all the calories from the Krispy Kreme donuts.
Right.
You're better off just doing less working out and concentrating on the diet. I always say abs come from the dinner table, not from the sit-up machine. Okay, but it's the same thing with the supplements. Most people are taking replacements, where instead of making dietary changes, supplements are great, but they should be supplementing a good lifestyle, not trying to replace a bad lifestyle.
And then also along the lines of the supplements, there's I think very few really good quality supplements,
Absolutely,
right? So then
yeah.
you got to get into the quality. That's like the quality of oil, right? You can go to the health food store, go to Target, anywhere, and get a lemon oil, but it isn't going to be the same lemon, right? Because it's who knows what's in it and what they're diluting, and yeah.
You kind of
So-
get what you pay for.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so like you just take yours, he just takes his supplements.
Like
I
a
muscle
good husband, right?
right, like a good husband. I muscle test myself because there's days I don't need that today, right?
Sure.
And so I muscle test myself for the things that I need. And hey, if you ever want to know about that, just reach out to me. I love teaching you how to do muscle
Testing is legit. You know,
It
one
is.
thing
I know. See, he doesn't get it. Help
one
me
thing
out.
with muscle testing they're doing now is that they're actually testing people now. Let's say if you get a hip replacement and they could have some different kinds of like titanium or different alloys put in you. They're actually testing people now to see what kind of metals they may or may not respond to, because 1 out of 20 people, for example, who gets a hip replacement, they're actually having an autoimmune reaction to that supposedly inert chemical in their body, or excuse me, metal in their body. So they're doing muscle testing in different ways to go, am I better off with titanium or this other metal? And so that's being used in different
So
other
when I need
circles
a
that
new
way.
car, am I better off with the
Yeah,
cat?
exactly.
Not that I
That's
want
a little
one.
bit more
I don't.
subjective.
All right.
There was
Listen.
one that was worth half that came through the coffee shop the other day, and I muscle tested it.
It was a big.
Has your
So
wife ever approved
I'm
any
a
of these hats?
believer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So there is legit to the muscle testing. We do sometimes go over that, but again, just reach out to me because it is so beneficial to you to understand and know your body, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to do that, just like he's not going to stretch before pickleball, but I'm stretching, like so. It's maybe it's
The
your
muscle testing is really just seeing the reflection of how your body goes strong and weak
yes.
through your nervous system, which is manifested through your muscles, the muscle tone. That's really what
I
it is.
understand the theory behind it, but I can manifest whatever result that I want.
You're that powerful, Keith.
I know. I mean, it's
Okay, now let's. I want to get into our topic today, and
should
this is
I
going to
drink
lead
this water? I can't get it off the table.
Okay,
All right.
so we're talking about muscle testing, and we're talking about what is it? National Vaccine Awareness Month.
Warning month.
Yes.
Warning.
Okay.
Warning.
Well,
okay.
according to them, it just means take your vaccines and sit down and
Oh.
shut up.
That's not what we say.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point from their point of view. It's if you're aware of vaccines, you should take them. My position is be aware of vaccines because
Right.
Warning.
I just saw a quote from Tucker Carlson this morning, and I actually pulled up the talk he gave it from just to make sure it was accurate. But he basically said every vaccine has side effects, every single one. And I didn't know this, but one of his kids has had a reaction to the flu vaccine.
Oh.
And so more and more people are coming out with that. Bobby Kennedy Jr. just came out recently and said that his voice started wavering after he had got a particular flu vaccine in the 90s.
Really?
So that's one of the dirtiest vaccines out there anyway. And just to be really clear out there, my job is not to give vaccine advice. It's to let people know you better start paying attention to what's going in your body. And I don't care if it's a food stuff or a medicine or any particular drug or vaccine. Start being aware of it. Don't take my advice. Don't take any particular source's advice. Cross-reference. Do your due diligence.
Check
We are
it
in
out.
that day and age where you cannot assume something's good for you just because somebody said it was or the government said it was good for you.
Right, or they're handing it out free at the drugstore.
People don't realize in 1986 when the government created the Indemnification Act, which made essentially vaccine makers immune from being prosecuted, so you could no longer sue the vaccine makers since 1986.
Wow.
The government came out in a joint statement that literally said in these words, vaccines are unavoidably unsafe. The government said that. And that was part of the reasons why they indemnified vaccine makers, because vaccine makers could literally go out of business if they got sued. Well, why would you sue them if somebody didn't have a case?
Right.
So that's the whole point of going, listen, you're not playing with something inert here. This is bad for people. Now, just like any medication, any treatment, is this something the lesser of two evils? And in some people it might be.
Yes.
But that equation is always got to be at play, and you have to make that decision for yourself and educate yourself.
And where would somebody go to find that information?
I forget the doctor from Wisconsin, Pierre Corey. You heard of Pierre Corey?
No.
He was really involved with the whole COVID thing and ivermectin. By the way, as a sidebar, ivermectin now is becoming a very useful way to help treat cancer, which is really ironic. It seems to be
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, but
And many other things.
Pierre Corey just spoke in Minneapolis this summer, about 2 months ago, and I specifically asked him. He sat at my table and I said, "What sources do you go by?" And he kind of hesitated. And he said, "I used to say go to the big journals,
Sure.
British Medical Journal, New England Journal of Medicine." He goes, "I can't even recommend that anymore." He said, "The only thing that I can do is literally go read the studies and not assume what the headline says."
Right, because they're going to
can't
edit
trust
them
any
down.
source now.
Yep.
So there's one program I like called the High Wire with Del Bigtree. I don't know if you're familiar with
The
that.
High Wire.
That's a great source. He does a lot of cross referencing. He has a lot of big credentialed people on there who don't just say what their opinion is, but they actually back it up with particular data they have, which is usually not what you're getting from the TV or the regular sources out there.
I've got something when we come back.
Okay. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. 651-775-9194, 651-775-9194. More on vaccines when we come back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. The 4 pillars of a healthy home. 651-775-9194. Go to ourhealthyhomes.com. A little description on there what that's all about. Okay, Dr. Matt's in the studio. We're talking about vaccines. The COVID vaccine. This is what kills me.
No pun intended.
No,
Yeah,
no pun
right,
intended.
right.
But they came out with the COVID vaccine and said, "Oh yeah, you got to take this, you got to take this, everybody's got to take this to keep yourself safe so you don't spread COVID and all that." Then they turned right around and said, "This will not prevent COVID, nor will it prevent the spread of COVID." Okay. I thought that's kind of what a vaccine was supposed to do. And then now they're giving booster shots, or they have been, but booster shots. So what are they boosting? Because the original vaccine didn't work, so they're going to boost it, and that doesn't work either. And you just keep filling yourself with all this stuff.
It seems like they're really just boosting their propaganda.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you go back, the doctor in me has always gone back and looked at this very objectively, as much as objectively as I can. So when the first shots started coming out in 2021, I'm like, I want to take a look at the vaccine inserts that are supposed to be in there. First of all, a number of those vaccine inserts, when you unfold them from this tiny little thing, and it ends up being this big
Sure.
2-3
Yeah, right.
2-3 foot
11
thing.
by 17, yeah.
A lot of them, in fact, this actually got pulled up in Congress, but one of the Congress people unfolded it because most of them said this. Normally, we open it up, it's got this tiny little print. It's full of all the side
Yes,
effects and the
right.
recommendations and whatever. When he unfolded, it's completely blank. And then on this, it's in relatively big letters, it says left intentionally blank. Because that was under the special act that allowed them to put it out without, it was an
Testing
emergency
it,
act.
yeah.
The emergency act. So they weren't held accountable to what's in there. But the ones that did have information on those vaccine inserts, right on the inserts from the get-go, said this does not stop the spread of COVID. And yet they used that very thing to push it, because even if you were going to be safe, you needed to protect grandma. And that was a lie from the beginning, because why? Again, not my opinion. It was right on the vaccine inserts that had that.
So life is busy. Everybody's busy, right? I'm back here like trying to do, all my research, and I'm trying to help everybody. I don't want them to get as sick as I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to be. I don't want my kids and my grandkids to be, having issues. And we're grandparents, we're the people that are diving into this, and we really want to try to help our busy kids, right, that are just trying to get through the day and live through get all the kids to all the things that they need to get to. And so I think people are just so busy that they just don't pay attention, and they don't think that FDA is going to harm us, and they just the trust level that they have that these things are okay is a little shocking to me.
Well, they
honestly.
were given too much trust to begin with.
Well, that's true. Yes.
There's a bunch
yes.
of different doctors who were full on board with the whole vaccine schedule before COVID. Then they started looking at the COVID shot and said, something smells here. This is way too obvious. Something's way off here. And when they delved into it, literally confirmed and said, okay, this shot is not what they said it was. But then a number of those doctors have stepped out for even further, like Peter McCullough, who's one of the most researched medical doctors in the world, came out and has recently said the rest of the schedule is suspect now. You need to take a look at all vaccines because the same kind of due diligence that they did not do with the COVID shot, people don't realize they have not done with the other shots as well. And so
with
all
the
of a
booster
sudden,
shots you're talking about.
with all shots.
All shots.
Okay.
Flu shots.
Okay.
Whatever.
So again, it doesn't mean don't take them. It doesn't mean take them. It means don't assume that the things that you thought were rock solid before the latest thing that might have woken you up is safe. Everything is suspect now, and a lot of doctors are saying, wow, everything has changed.
So why don't you hear more about it? Why isn't it on the news? I mean, if all these docs now are coming out and saying, hey, we got to take another look at this, there doesn't seem to be any breaks. And we got National, Vaccine Awareness Month. What is that?
It's
campaign?
hard. Yeah, it's hard to get that information out in between all the commercials that say brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
So there's your problem right there. When roughly 70% of major advertising revenue is coming from pharmaceutical companies, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
That particular mouthpiece is bought and sold by that advertiser. That's money well spent.
Yes, and for those of you that have had it, you've woken up, you wish you wouldn't have, like whatever the thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a website. How bad is your batch? I've got the actual link, so you can text me or reach out to me. So what people are starting to do that have realized just what we're talking about, that I probably should have done my research before I took this, and they are going online and inputting their issues that they've had since they have the shot based on the lot number. So based on the lot number of your vaccine, your little white card or whatever that number is on there, you can now go in there and register the side effects that you're starting to have. So they're building that, right? So it's only as good as it is
to
right
what
now.
end? To what end?
That's a great point, because they're going back to the very people you should have been able to trust to begin with.
Right.
And they're modifying that data as well. One thing they tried to do with the COVID shots is they tried to get rid of the control groups. If you get rid of the control groups, there's nobody to compare to.
Oh,
it's very
right.
useful,
But I think I had a friend of mine tell me that there were 3 attorneys in Minnesota that were only going to deal with vaccine injury cases and start to focus and go forward with that. It's kind of.
But if you're not going after the manufacturer, then they're going to
Yeah.
go after the doctors and the practitioners and the hospitals,
And that's going to
the
be
administrators. People
Yeah.
who are administrating it should have done their research as well, you would think.
Yeah.
If a doctor is saying, hey, I'm going to give you this shot, he should know what he's giving you.
The largest vaccine, the largest non-pharmaceutical law firm that's prosecuting for vaccine injuries is from Aaron Siri from Siri Glinstad. If you're not a vaccine manufacturer, they are the number one prosecuting law firm for these cases.
And where are they out of?
I believe he's out of Arizona, but it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they have
right,
connections everywhere.
Right.
But so there's just a lot of class action lawsuits going on. There's a lot of military class actions. I believe there's a group of like Air Force people who have actually won that suit. I believe Navy SEALs had grouped together and actually won that as well. So
there's a lot of people that have been injured from the vaccine, and death, and it's just are people putting the 2 and 2 together, right? On when I got the jab, and now they're saying that the vaccine has brought your cancer up faster, right? So they're calling it a turbo cancer, right? Do you want to?
Yeah, so
speak on
people
that
are
a little
getting the
bit?
same cancers younger, and they're more aggressive, and especially if somebody's been in remission, they seem to be even more susceptible to coming out of remission and then having it progress much faster than the doctor would expect it to happen.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about vaccines, and the vaccines have been around in one form or another for 100 years almost.
Well, 200-300 years.
Yeah.
Actually.
In one form or another. So, what is one to do? I mean, we're an alternative health and wellness program. I mean, that's
Yep.
what we're about.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that all vaccine bad, or vaccine good. Neither one. Just
Right.
like you said, be aware.
Sure.
It seems like there's a proliferation of them now. I mean, you can't turn on the TV without a vaccine for something. If your hair is turning color, there's a vaccine for it.
Well, there's a new vaccine for cancer coming out now too, and it's actually produced by some of the different companies that produce the COVID vaccines that are related to causing cancer.
Yeah, beautiful. Well,
Wow.
Well, they're
Well, I
creating.
gotta see- yeah, I gotta hear
they're
that
creating their own customer.
How many going?
Yes.
creating their own
Yes.
customer. So then, what is the alternative? That's what my question was. So, what's the alternative? What do we do then? If I'm, I took a vaccine when I was a kid. My measles, mumps, measles, rubella. Those, Manto test and polio vaccine and stuff. And then I think we had the only other vaccine that I can remember ever having was for not chickenpox, but what is
Shingles,
Shingles.
and that was before we knew any better.
Right.
Right.
And now they say shingles is primarily a complication of the chickenpox vaccines.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so, yeah.
But otherwise, I've never had a flu shot. I didn't have any of the COVID shots. I'm healthy as a horse.
Yeah.
So what is the alternative then? If you have people who say, I should probably get a vaccine, what would you say is, well, what could I do instead of getting a vaccine?
Well, there's no alternative to the original. The OG, as they say, the kids say, the original gangster,
Oh.
OG,
Okay.
is your immune system.
Mhm.
Right.
One of the things we've
Right.
learned in the last 4 years is how powerful
Yes.
natural immunity is.
Yes.
So what alternative is to that? Everything else would be an alternative to that.
Right.
So start there, so that no matter what you do, the different things you do for health with people,
Yes.
build your system up, and that's your best foot forward.
All
Yes.
right. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about building your system up. And I'm going to go right back to supplements because that seems to me the place to start. If you're not getting good food, then supplement your diet with something that will,
While you're working on it.
while you're working on the other stuff, and then it's how to work on the other stuff. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. Coming up later in the month, we got the PEC class coming up. We got a vibration wellness class coming up. Curious about what that's going to be all about. Got a blood sugar class coming up. You can find out all about them at ourhealthyhomes.com. Click on the whatever link it is. What is it, Sheila? Classes or something?
Click on the events tab.
Events tab.
Yep. Reach out to me, because if you can't make it and you still want to have a conversation around it, just reach out to me.
Okay. So we've been talking about vaccines, the vaccine warning. And essentially what it is be aware
Yes.
of what you're putting in your body. Make sure that what you're putting in your body has been authenticated and verified to be helpful, because sometimes it's just not going to be helpful. And then start with your own. When we went out, we said start with your own immune system and strengthening your immune system so that you maybe don't need vaccines because you're strong enough to get over a little cold without having a vaccine.
Yeah, so remember when the frontline doctors, were there, when they still are, but during COVID,
Mhm.
and they were one of the few places to get the ivermectin, which would help you get over COVID. But they had their product information sheet, if you'd call it that, of how much vitamin C you needed to take if you had COVID, vitamin C, D, zinc, so they had all of the data there on how much you needed while you had COVID.
A protocol.
But then when you didn't have it, this is how much you should have.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people have, maybe it's just hopeful that they've woken up to needing, some of those things to add just some basic things into their daily routine. And that, I think, helped people be aware of how much and what they needed just to start, just to get their foot in the door with some basics, right, to build that immune system.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have the document. You want it, just again, send me an email, whatever, because people would reach out to me and what should I do? What should I do? Well, I would have a conversation with them and try to help them as best that I could. But
really, stop to think about it. Just think about it. The muffin top meltdown.
Yeah.
That really, I joke about it,
Yeah. Right.
But the reality of it is, the things that are in that program
Yeah.
that you run are the same things that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because you go through that program, it is
Cleaning up your
eat
gut.
good food,
Yep.
clean up your organs, make sure that you're being supplemented, move your body,
Yep.
drink water,
Yep.
and drink good water, not poison water. Get the poison out of your house, because it doesn't do any good to clean up your body and then wash your clothes in poison and then
Right.
put them on and let them absorb back into your skin. So there's all those kinds of things that you do. It is a very holistic approach to balancing and improving and strengthening your immune system, so that when that virus does come, and
Fill in the
it's
blank,
not
the next
it's not
one,
if it's
whatever.
going to come, it's
When.
that next
Right.
virus comes.
Right.
You're one of the strong ones standing.
Yeah. When a big storm goes through a forest, you never know what the weak trees are until the storm comes through. So
Right.
you can't blame the wind per se. One of the
Right.
things we learned during COVID was not so much how dangerous a virus was, but how unhealthy we were.
And weak.
And look
are-
at how many people who go through your muffin top who want to look better. They want
Right.
to look better in the mirror. But the bonus is they're actually better. They're decreasing
Right.
their chance of having complications from other things while they're looking better.
Right.
So
and
it's a win-win.
Yes, and again, it's hard for people because they want those quick results on the outside and the quick. And it will happen, right? And you want it to happen at a slower pace so that it remains
It's lasting.
right. And
I like to say healing takes time, but it doesn't take forever.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it does
Yes,
take
it
time.
does
and you
take
got to
time.
give it the time.
Yes.
It takes as long as it takes.
yeah, because everybody's different. Where they're at is different. And when I talk to people, it sounds pretty. I don't know, pretty bad, pretty general, but people just don't have any second thoughts about grabbing, that Advil, that NAIDS, Tylenol, like whatever it is. But oh my gosh, I don't know if I can bear to put that lavender on my skin. What is it going to do to me?
Is it going to burn me?
Yeah, we're just so
Yeah.
backwards.
We're afraid of the wrong things.
Exactly.
Thinking you guys are in real estate, right? So how many times do people buy a house or even build a house, and one of the things they put in their bathroom is a medicine cabinet?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
goes in a medicine cabinet? Medicine.
Right.
It's just so built into our consciousness that we're supposed to have this place where we put this stuff, and we're supposed to take it at certain ages, and then we're questioning some of the very things that are supposed to get us off the medications.
Right.
Which
Right.
is super ironic.
And if you can have a conversation with people and start talking about this and ask them what prescriptions they're taking, it's shocking to me.
It is. People will come into my office with a typed, itemized list of what they're on.
Yeah, it's shocking.
And the doctors, they might have 6 doctors, and none of those doctors are going
Oh.
to step on the toes of the other doctors.
Exactly.
So
Right.
those drugs just keep ramping
Yes.
up more and more and more.
Yes. It is shocking, and then you ask somebody, like when we have the how to reduce your blood sugars naturally, talk, and we'll go through it, and are you what medications are you on? I mean, and it just doesn't stop. But then it's like, well, they gave me this one because of the side effects of this one, and so they just keep like layering it on, and I mean,
It's chemical whack-a-mole.
yes.
You press one down and 2 more come up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So
I call it getting off the crazy train. Your program
crazy
gets people
train,
off the crazy train.
Right.
My program of care gets people off the crazy train. And what do they have in common? It empowers people to be better on their own with less dependence on the things around them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, my drug of choice is vitamin C.
Coffee. Yeah.
And
Yours.
coffee,
Okay. Yours
yeah.
coffee. Right.
And the
So-
sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Like get yourself out. Get yourself in the sun.
It's almost too simple.
It is almost.
the-
people don't believe it.
Isn't
because
that
it is
the
so
limit?
simple. But you look back in the pictures, photographs of people. This is what gets me. I look back at photographs taken when I was a kid in the '60s.
Yes.
Nobody was fat.
Yeah.
I mean, the fat kid was an anomaly.
Well-
There was a fat kid in the class, and he got picked on.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was me.
Yeah.
And then everyone else was skinny
Yeah.
and active, and they ate.
Yeah, they show those photos from like
1970.
Rockaway Beach
Yes.
in New York,
Yes.
and
Yes.
everybody just looks normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was that fat kid, right? That's the other thing is people look at me and think, oh, you're so little. And, oh, you've been that. They just assume I've been that way, right? That I'm okay, I'm short. But, I always say, to everybody, bless his heart for loving me at 185 pounds when he met me. And so I was but I was I went through, I was teased as a kid and, wore a woman's 13, 14. You girls can relate to me out there in the size. I swear from a 6X to the women's 13, 14 from 6th grade to 7th grade. And, I could go into all the, the period changes and all the hormone changes that nobody knew what was going on in my body. We didn't have those kind of doctors back then, or my parents didn't know to take me to one.
Or didn't want to talk about it.
Or didn't want to talk about it.
And I love that you put all those numbers out there because gals can really connect with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes this mysterious thing. Yes, I was overweight, but let's actually talk about my starting point, right?
Yes.
And then where you are now, it's amazing. I can't even visualize you.
She was
with
one of those
numbers.
ones that looked at, boy, she would be cute if she lost 50 pounds. So then she did.
but I mean, right? Again, so I was one of those. I got teased in school, all the things. Went through. I had a lot of hormone, crap, and just wasn't many doctors. No offense, Wapaton, North Dakota, but my parents didn't know any better, either, right? And so I always tell people that why do we think our passion is our passion for each one of us? Because we've probably gone through whatever the passion thing is, right? So I'm passionate about this muffin top thing because I went through it. I mean, I've been going through it all my life since a kid, being teased and called bad names and, all the things, to finally, like, this is it. This is no more. And it took a pretty bad crisis to wake me up. Unfortunately, that's just who I am. And so I'm just reaching out to people, and it's like, don't wait till it gets that bad, right? And
yeah, it's a built-in thing from God. I know
Yeah.
my assistant was on 14 or 15 medications
Wow.
before I started adjusting her.
Wow.
And so she's a powerhouse educating people on how powerful chiropractic is.
Yes.
And we've had interesting conversations because she said she was sick when she was born. And so I said, wouldn't it have been great if your parents would have taken you to a chiropractor? And she has a very poignant way of saying,
Yeah, she's good.
if they would have taken me to a chiropractor, I wouldn't have the passion to help other people today.
Yeah.
So you don't want bad things happen to people. You don't want you to have to go up with a tough childhood, but
Right.
look at how powerful you are and how many people you're helping now. So it's this beautiful connection with everything, and you end up helping other people.
And it's always when something, bad happens, or, doesn't have to be bad, but I always look at, okay, what's the blessing in it, right?
Yes.
Like whatever the thing is, and you feel like it was bad or it's terrible or, not the right time or whatever it is, let's take a look and let's find the blessing in it, because we have to find that. And I think when we look for the blessing in it, it just really enables us to deal with whatever the issue is in a better way.
Yeah, because if you don't see the blessing, it just means you missed the blessing.
Yeah, you missed
Exactly.
it completely.
Right.
And some of that stuff, the realization that comes about, and the decision to say, okay, now starting today,
Right.
I'm going to change. That's so much fun, and it's so exciting, and it can be exciting if you accept it.
But you also need somebody in your corner to help
coach
you,
you.
because right. And
Absolutely.
so that's what I love to do.
Just like
Yep.
all these years. I mean, Sheila's worked. I can't believe it. The change. She's still just only 2 pounds away from my goal for her. All right, that's our Healthy Homes.
Nice
this
to end
week.
it on a joke.
651-775-9194.
Thanks,
And
Matt. It's
We'll
always
be
a
back
pleasure.
next week.
But when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after dinner, sugar in every room. He says When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey, you can call me sugar anytime.